When you receive a new lead inside your SuiteCRM system, maybe there are some processes which you have to go through. Maybe you want to check the website and get an impression of what the person is doing or what the company is doing. So how about we use n8n to automate this process for you? So let's go. Okay, so before we start building, let's quickly check the architecture and the process and then do it from scratch. So what do I have here? A lead with the information, first name, last name, and the website. So now I want to automatically go to their website and want to automatically extract the information, the website title, and the website H1, the heading 1, which is usually in combination with the title, most arguably the important stuff, or you get a very good sense of what the company is about. So, and how to do this, I'll set up an n8n workflow in the background. So let's make sure, let's simply test this. And now it's going to the website, extracting all the details, and I'll refresh my page here. And I hope that we get the information here now. So very well, we've got the details. So here we've got the title. It's all about CRM, marketing automation, digital commerce. And here it's a little bit of repeating this or elaborating on that. I delete it so we can build it up from scratch. And if you look at this one, you might have noticed already we know a couple of things. So for instance, here, this is the part of retrieving a lead or getting a lead here. This is the part of updating a lead. So we can simply copy the Lego blocks that we already built up, the stuff that we built up before, and simply reuse it. So basically here's my get SuiteCRM and there's my update SuiteCRM lead. So the get one, I would use this one because I can keep it exactly as it is. And I would change this one here, get SuiteCRM website info from lead. And here I basically just need to have the copy bit, the update bit, and copy it here. Close this again. So if you have not seen how to build this, check out my other videos on n8n and how to get information from the CRM and how to update information of the inside the CRM. So here we can start this manually. Token works. Most likely the lead will not work because we have a different ID now. So I simply have to use my current ID that I want to build the logic for. And I have to replace the endpoint URL. And now I get the information from the lead. So what's the first thing that we want to do now? Basically, if the lead has provided a website, then I want to go ahead and continue. If not, then I want to exit or just do nothing. So therefore, I would add a logic here, an if. And for the if, on the left-hand side, now you see that there are all the fields from the CRM system that you can use. And I want to have this one here, website, and I put it into the value first, into the value 1. And then I need to figure out what I do with this. So here I've got all sorts of comparisons and so on. I just want to make sure that if it is not empty, then we can continue. So that looks a bit nicer here, because if I execute this now, I'm in a true branch. So if I'm flipping the logic inside the if, then I'm in the true branch. If I would have not flipped it, so if it's empty, then I would need to continue with a false branch now. So it's up to you. You can do either way, if empty, if not empty. So the next thing is I want to go to the website. That works again with an HTTP request. You can see that is already a lot of, or like very, very valuable HTTP request to website. Now we know that we have a website because we have it inside our if, and then we simply take the URL, put it here. This is now a get without any parameters. Let's first test it. You can always go more complex if you needed to, maybe add some properties, options with redirects or pass the response or whatever. But as you can see here, the HTML has been extracted. This is not messy at all. It just is HTML. And therefore, we will be able now to extract more information. And in order to do this, I want to have this HTML node, and there's an HTML extract content. And this is exactly what we want to do. So now it helps if you know HTML, but if you don't know HTML, let's figure out how you would work in this case. So let's start with a title. Extract HTML content from the JSON data, yes, key, title. So the key is the variable name that we need later on again. So now we need to have a CSS selector on how to get this. So the title is here at the very top inside my browser window. And in order to extract this or get the CSS selector for that, I'm going to right-click, inspect, and then here inside my header area, there's the title. And if you click right-click on the title, you have something like copy and CSS selector. So it helps if you know CSS now. If not, then you would need to do this in that way. This will totally work, so I'll test this now. Okay, this will totally not work. Let me change this into the head title. So we don't need to use the child. If it's too specific, it can just run into issues, and maybe there's the passing DOM context or whatever, which doesn't work here inside the n8n, but it works if you don't do it too specific. So here inside my head area, there is a title tag or a title element, and we can extract the title. So this is fine. The next thing that I want to do is I want to do the same thing for H1, which is most likely the most important heading on your website. So again, the whole thing a key. The CSS selector is even easier because I only have to add H1, and I want to do it at the same time. And then I can test it as well. So what happens here if I test it? Okay, this is my H1. So it's basically like a paraphrasing or like an elaboration on the title. And now I need to merge those two branches. So, and here you can usually, if it's so easy, you can combine it and just use the position or something. It could be more complicated as well, depending on what you're doing, but in our case, that is fairly simple. So, and if I execute this now, it makes sure that both of our branches that connect are first executed. I can switch here to the JSON representation or keep the table, but as you can see, that looks all good. The last thing that remains to be done is basically to update our CRM system. So if you don't know how to update or where to get this node from, check out my video on how to update your CRM system via n8n. What we have to do there is basically, patch and then go to the module. That is fine as well. It seems like we have to change the bearer. Here we've got the token, access token, exactly. And then if it turns green, and then you will see that it will most likely be working. The only thing is we need to change the body of the JSON or the JSON body here. So the first thing that we need to do is, yes, leads, that's correct. And we want to get the information from the lead ID that we retrieved already. Yes, we could use the fixed version that we copied and pasted at the beginning, but eventually this should be all dynamic, and this workflow should work for every single lead that's coming in. So if you would trigger this later on from webhooks or whatever out of the CRM, then you would simply get this retrieve this ID from the webhook in the first place and not even have to have a fixed version of a variable name inside your workflow here. So, and what do we want to update? First name, no, not really. We have the title, which is further down here. Website, underline title, website, underline title, underline C. That's the first thing that we want to update. And then the second thing that we want to update is basically something like, I need to check it where it is. So it's called heading, website heading. Heading, and it's a heading number 1, C, double colon, and now you want to add some details here. So Now you're good with the variable names that you have to update, or the field names that you have to update. And now you need to give it values. So here for the title, you want to place the title, right? And then the next thing is you want to place the H1 information here. And now we need to check whether it works and see needs to be a valid JSON. Okay. So what do we need to do then? In some cases, and we have to try this out, in some cases could be that there are some invalid JSON characters enclosed. So it could be, for instance, if you have like 2 times a double quote or something, then it's difficult. So here what we can do in order to make this work is we would add a function. It's called JSON stringify, and then we need to give it a parameter, which is our H1. And here you have to be careful because you see the preview. Now we have 2 times the quotation mark, so we can get rid of ours because the JSON stringify already does this for you. And now we can retry the step, and it seemed to be working. Let's check it inside our CRM system. And yeah, as you can see, now we've got our title and our website heading here. So how to continue from here, check out my video on SuiteCRM and webhooks, because this is an ideal trigger. You receive a new lead, its status is new, it just came in via the website, it contains a website, for instance, and then you can call n8n with the webhook and just get this all automatically done in the background. And it will only take a couple of seconds, and as soon as your employees or your colleagues would look into the CRM system, this has already been filled up. So in the background, there will be some automation, some bots, something working and helping you to optimize your processes inside your business. That's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.